In organic compounds, we have different electronic effects due to which displacement of electrons occurs, and sometimes delocalization of electrons occurs as well. So, what are these electronic effects? These electronic effects are basically inductive effect, resonance, mesomeric effect, hyperconjugation, electromagnetic effect. These are permanent effects. Three of these are permanent and one is temporary. Which are permanent effects? Inductive effect, hyperconjugation, mesomeric or resonance effect are permanent, whereas electromagnetic effect, one effect. The last one, electromagnetic effect, is a temporary effect that exists only when the reagent which causes that effect is present. Alright. So, first three effects are permanent: inductive, mesomeric and hyperconjugation, whereas electromagnetic is temporary effect. It occurs only in the presence of a particular reagent. Alright. Now, we will study these effects in detail. So, what are these effects? So, starting with inductive effect. So, what happens in an inductive effect? I will explain it to you on this board. So, if I take, let us say, there is a carbon chain, I connect chlorine. So, chlorine is more electronegative than carbon. So, what happens is chlorine pulls electron towards itself. So, it gains a partial negative charge. So, partial negative charge is basically shown by delta minus. So, partial negative charge is shown by delta minus. So, this carbon will gain partial positive charge, that is delta 1 plus. So, this is a partial positive carbon. So, it pulls electrons from this carbon. So, this carbon gains slightly less positive. So, I will take it as delta 2 plus, and this will pull electrons from this sigma bond, and this will become delta 3 plus. So, what has happened is that the more electronegative atom chlorine has pulled the electrons towards itself from a sigma bond. This shifting of electrons from a sigma bond due to greater electronegative element is known as inductive effect. Now, what is happening is that chlorine is withdrawing electrons from this carbon chain. So, just remember, whenever electrons are withdrawn from the carbon chain, then effect is negative. So, this effect is negative and it is inductive effect. So, we will call this as minus I effect of chlorine on this carbon chain. So, any electronegative element such as O or N or halogen is more electronegative than carbon chain. So, whenever to a direct carbon chain, nitrogen, oxygen, halogens are connected, or any more electronegative atom is connected, sp carbon is connected, then it will cause minus I effect. Alright. So, minus I effect is explained over here. Similarly, if you have a carbon chain connected to this, I have a carbon chain connected to this. So, what will happen is, or O minus for that matter, O minus. So, it is having a negative charge. What it will give? It will start giving electrons to this carbon chain. So, when you give something to somebody, what kind of a feeling you get? I think you get a positive feeling, right? So, when we get a positive feeling, that means when we are giving, we get a positive feeling. So, any group which gives electrons to the carbon chain, we call the effect as plus I effect. So, positive effect if electron is being given, and negative effect if electron is being pulled out of the carbon chain. So, shifting of electrons due to a group along a sigma bond is known as inductive effect, and this occurs along the sigma bond, right. Next point is, it is more effective when it is near to the carbon. For example, this delta 1 will be greater than delta 2 and it will be greater than delta 3. So, as we move away from chlorine, the effect of chlorine is reducing. So, inductive effect is distance dependent. Closer is the group, more will be the inductive effect. Far is the group, less will be inductive effect, right. And it is active up to 3 carbon atoms. After 3 carbon atoms, inductive effect is negligible, and hydrogen has negligible inductive effect. And carbon chain and negative atom, carbon chain and negative atom has positive inductive effect. So, positive inductive effect is basically for alkyl groups, O minus, CH2 minus, NH minus, any negative ion, and alkyl group has positive inductive effect, more is the number of carbon atoms, more will be plus I. For example, tertiary butyl will have more inductive effect than isopropyl. Isopropyl will have more inductive than ethyl. Ethyl will have more inductive, positive inductive than methyl. Alright, more the number of carbon, more the degree of carbon, more will be plus I. So alkyl groups have plus I, and any electronegative atom or group of atoms more electronegative than carbon will show minus I. So we have a set of groups which show minus I effect, which have been arranged in a particular order. Here we have a particular order in which groups have been arranged which show negative inductive effect. Alright, so that is what we have for you on inductive effect. I hope you understood them very nicely. Thank you.